How's it going, everyone? KiiBOOM sent over their line of switch upgrades, and they are the Matcha Latte and Taro cream switches. One is a linear and one is tactile. And while this was sent to me for free, no money was involved in the video, so this video is my whole and honest opinion. The switches both come for $15.99 and 35 switches, which equates to about 45 cents a switch. It's not the cheapest, but definitely not the most expensive either, by any means. They both come basically not really lubed, but surprisingly, the linear are much less scratchy than the tactiles. And right off the bat, I have to say I do prefer the linears compared to the tactiles. To start off, let's look at the Matcha Lattes. They're a linear switch that have a really nice push feel similar to a JWK switch. They're a tad clackier in my opinion, but the switch housing is composed of nylon and PC, and the stem is palm. This kind of material isn't really anything new or out of the ordinary, but work together and sound really nice and well. The spring inside the switch is also 55 grams. Alongside the linears, I was also sent the tactiles, which are composed of the same material, but the tactile sensation is not as prominent to, say, maybe like a Holy Panda or Boba U4T. But the bottom mount is very similar to those. I think they are going for a lower tactile switch with a short bottom mount. One side note I would like to add is that even though both of these switches seem to be made from the same manufacturer, the tactiles were very hard to get into my plate. I mean, one out of every package actually didn't even fit into the socket, so keep that in mind as you buy these tactiles. There still might be a difference in manufacturers, but this could be an indication of a quality control issue if it is from the same one. I don't think that's a deal breaker, but I would keep that in mind. There isn't anything to write home about these switches that make me want to point out, but out of the box, the linears are very clean, smooth, and nice and clacky. If I were to talk about the tactiles, however, the suggestion wouldn't be the same. You would need to loop the switches to give it a cleaner sound, and for some people that might not be the most attractive thing to hear about. A small difference between both the switches is that the linears have a longer spring compared to the Taros. I think this is something that could have been used in both, since I think the tactile experience would be snappier if they had done so. Of course, that is all preference, but in my opinion, that would have been a huge difference. If we take a look at the tactiles here, you can see that the stem is a little bit elongated, so you get a nice bottom mount sound. But something about the material here just feels kind of sluggish and scratchy. It's not horrible, but definitely not my favorite. However, the whole presentation of the switches and packaging it comes in is top tier. I never worried about my pins being bent, and when they came, it was very fun to open up the package. I never ever got bored of how the whole experience went along. Since we are using KiiBOOM switches, it only makes sense that we're going to use KiiBOOM's Phantom 81. It's an amazing keyboard, I love the look and design, and doing this configuration makes the most sense to me since the switches you get stock with the keyboard might not be your favorite. As you can hear, it's a very clean, poppy, and clacky sound. I love the way the linears sound on the board because it really brings out the characteristic of the board itself. Added along with the bouncy nature of it, it's a great experience. It also has a great travel distance inside the switch itself, so it gives a really comfortable feeling and I could type on it all day. The Taro creams as well do sound pretty amazing. It just has a bit too much scratch for my liking, and the board somehow kind of amplifies that sound. My winner between the two would definitely be these Matcha Lattes, but like I always say, it's all just preference. The tactile feedback from the Switch is still great. I really do like it. With the price in mind, it's a great budget tactile that I can see myself using maybe even after lubing with 205G0. The aesthetic as well looks great. Couldn't get over the way it looks. Well, that's all I have to say with these switches. They're both great upgrades for your keyboard, so whenever you go to shop for your Phantom 81, can't go wrong with either. I really hope this review was helpful, and like always, until next time.